If you're working with SharePoint technologies for years, you know what SharePoint Workflows and InfoPath are for this platform and for the business processes built on top of it. In today's video, I would like to present you the timeline for the end of life of the SharePoint Designer Workflows, so SharePoint 2013 Workflows, InfoPath platform, and also the Nintex, which is connected with this technology if you're using Office 365. This will be the huge change for the organizations that planning to move to the Microsoft 365 environment but are not yet there, and also for everyone who moved from on-premise to SharePoint Online and still using SharePoint Designer Workflows there and forms customized with the InfoPath service. We're getting closer and closer to the end of life of these products. I would like to introduce you to this timeline, to the challenges, how you can prepare, how you can assess these products used in your environment, and what are the possible alternatives to give you the hand to replace them with the modern approach. Microsoft already decided ending its life in the Office 365 environment, and also some of them will be deprecated in the SharePoint on-premise. Prepare yourself, prepare your environment, be ready to continue to use your business workflows using modern approach. And as always, if you will like this video, please leave the thumbs up. If you want to get the notifications about the new videos, please subscribe. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. Right now we will give few seconds for the sponsor of this video who helping to support this YouTube channel to deliver you this knowledge. Plumsail is the sponsor of this video. This vendor provides multiple solutions that allows you to extend the capabilities of the Office 365 through custom forms, document solutions, and extensions to the Power Platform. Moreover, you can use their products offered as a box solution and deploy them in your environment. Plumsail prepared special offer for all viewers of this video. If you will use my first name, Shimon, I know that's super tricky, on their side you will get 10% discount for all of their products. Moreover, if you will be interested, you can also try them using trial version. If you are familiar with these technologies, you already know that Microsoft deprecate SharePoint 2010 workflows. You cannot use them, they are not working in the SharePoint Online. But same thing happened to the SharePoint 2013 workflows and InfoPath services. As a result of this end of life of the products, also Nintex for Office 365 will be deprecated. In the few next minutes I will show you the timeline when specific products will be turned off, and to be fair, this is hard deadline for these products. There will be no chance to extend these capabilities. Moreover, it doesn't mean that they will not be supported, it means they will be turned off. If you're already using these solutions in your SharePoint Online or in the SharePoint on-premise, you need to consider how to replace them. For these who never work with these solutions and inherit their SharePoint Online or SharePoint server environment, it's worth to have very short introduction what we are talking about. So first of all, SharePoint Designer Workflows, also called SharePoint 2013 Workflows. So this is the old engine provided with the SharePoint 2013 on-premise that allows you to build workflows, automated processes, automations, and extend the capabilities of the SharePoint using SharePoint Designer. You can expect that in your environment you can meet some kind of approvals, automated processes around documents, or workflows that improving daily work built on top of this technology. If you're thinking about InfoPath services, this is the very old platform that allows you to customize the forms provided by SharePoint using InfoPath Designer and deliver additional logic, additional look and feel for your SharePoint lists or document libraries using InfoPath Forms. You can see both of that products extend the capabilities of SharePoint on-premise or SharePoint online to give you the possibility to build the automated flows of work or extend the capabilities of the customer-facing forms. And both of that products will be turned off, which could impact you if you're using SharePoint on-premise and planning to migrate to SharePoint Online, and at the same time could impact you if you already did that and you still using or have still active processes or forms customizations using these two tools in the SharePoint Online. Another product worth to mention that is impacted by this change and timeline for the end of life is Nintex for Office 365. This is the solution that contains multiple products, so forms and workflows. And in this case, workflows provided by Nintex for Office 365 were based on the SharePoint 2013. In the situation that Microsoft will turn off this feature in the SharePoint Online, you will not be able to continue to use Nintex workflows in this model. Moreover, if you are still on-premise and using Nintex there, you will not be able to migrate these flows to the Nintex for Office 365. In the next step, I will tell you what are the alternatives and how much time do you have to prepare yourself, to prepare your organization for such a change. Microsoft publicly shared the timeline for deprecation of the SharePoint 2013 workflows and SharePoint Designer that is used to develop and customize these workflows. First of all, every new Office 365 tenant created after April 2024, so very close to current date, will not contain SharePoint 2013 workflows. It means if you're using them on-prem right now, you will not be able to migrate them to the Office 365 and SharePoint Online. You will need to replace them with the alternative solution. Moreover, for already existing tenants, this feature will be turned off in the April 2026. It means that if you today using SharePoint 2013 workflows, they will stop to work in 2026 year. There is still some time to prepare for that change and to assess your environment. In the next part of this video, I will tell you how to do it. Moreover, there is one more thing worth to mention about deprecation of these services. In case of SharePoint Server Subscription Edition, so the last and fully supported SharePoint Server environment on-premise, SharePoint 2013 workflows will be supported. SharePoint 2010 workflows will be deprecated in 2026. It means that if you are still on-premise and still using SharePoint 2010 workflows, this is the date that you need to note down because these processes will not be supported anymore. But SharePoint 2013 workflows on the SharePoint Server Subscription Edition will be still supported. In case of InfoPath services in the SharePoint Online, in July 2026, so 2 months later, this service will be retired and removed from your environment. It means that you will not be able to continue to use it. Again, it gives you some time to prepare for that kind of change, but it's important that this is the hard deadline and InfoPath services and InfoPath Forms will stop to work in 2026, July 14, in your Office 365 environment. What is also quite important, these services will stop to be supported in SharePoint Server Subscription Edition. It means that if you still are on-premise and you're still using InfoPath and planning to migrate to Subscription Edition to have still support for this platform, InfoPath services will be deprecated there either. So the only thing you can use there after 2026 will be SharePoint 2013 workflows. And the same scenario is connected with the Nintex, so there's no chance to extend using Nintex for Office 365 workflows part after April 2026. It means if you're using Nintex workflows for Office 365 in your Microsoft 365 environment, or if you're planning to migrate from on-prem to cloud, you need to consider possible migration scenarios to migrate your Nintex processes to Nintex software as a service plan. This is a little different platform, but Nintex provides some support in the area of the migration. Of course, 3 articles I'm sharing with you, you will find all the links to them in the description of the video. And you can ask, okay, so what can I do? I have no idea if on my environment there are any working SharePoint workflows or any forms customized in InfoPath. In the next step, I will show you assessment tools that you can execute on your SharePoint Online environment and in your SharePoint server environment that will detailed list all actively used SharePoint workflows and InfoPath services. This will give you the capabilities to do the assessment if that change will impact your environment. If you are totally new to SharePoint Online, you never use SharePoint on-premise, possibility to be impacted is probably quite low, but if you were migrated from SharePoint on-premise to SharePoint Online a few years ago, there's really good chance that you have that kind of solutions actively used. Thankfully, all of these tools are free, so you can easily execute them in your environment and check where you are. If you have feeling that your environment could be impacted by this change and you're using SharePoint for years in your organization, I highly recommend you to execute these assessment tools. It's not something that will be a huge task for your organization, but it will be really worth to prepare yourself and check if there is any impact that it could harm you. Based on experience in the projects in similar cases, on the business side, there is really small understanding what kind of tools are there. So probably if you're in IT team, this is something that you need to assess by yourself. Thankfully, Microsoft provides tool in PnP for Office 365 for SharePoint. This is the extension of the PowerShell that allows you to execute the assessment tool of the SharePoint Online Microsoft 365 environment and get reports that will show you exactly what kind of workflows are executed where with detailed information about it. This is really great foundation that will give you the possibility to do further investigation. On the same side, you will be able to find very similar tool based on PnP that you can execute on your SharePoint Online environment and generate the reports about all customized forms using InfoPath in SharePoint Online. And these reports could be used to investigate business processes, customizations, anything that you need to change or adapt to move forward. And one more thing, this workflows assessment tool will also list all Nintex workflows. So if you're considering what kind of workflows your organization using in the Office 365, this tool could also help you to nominate them. The only one concern I want to highlight, you can see something called migrate SharePoint 2013 workflows to Power Automate. This is something I would consider only if you're using very simple, very basic workflows. If these are more business applications, you will need to investigate that, but let me get that in the next part of this video. And what if you're still using SharePoint on-premise, you're planning the migration and you need to prepare yourself to the migration to the platform that will not support SharePoint 2013 workflows and InfoPath. Use SharePoint Migration Assessment Tool. This is the really great tool I always recommend in case of assessments of your SharePoint on-premise environment. It generates detailed reports about the data, workflows, about the InfoPath. You will get very detailed information about what kind of customizations, what kind of workflows are running or are created in your on-premise environment. Remember, this could be very heavy tool executed only during maintenance window, but you will get everything you need to prepare yourself for this area. Okay, and we're getting to the point that you have understanding about how many workflows, how many customized forms you have on your environment that will be turned off or unsupported in case of using of SharePoint Online. What should be your next step? First of all, you need to assess the business logic, the requirements, the functionality, the usage of these solutions or business apps created on top of it to be sure that you will be able to redevelop them. And I know it sounds quite scary, but to be very fair, this is the only way to replace the current solutions. There are some tools like in the previous screens that could offer you some kind of migrations of these workflows, but this is something that I will only recommend in case of very simple, very straightforward logic. If you will have any business app, form, workflow, multiple actors, any kind of logic or business critical solutions, this is not the way to do it. You will need to do the analysis, gather the requirements and redevelop these solutions. And you will also need to map the technical architecture for that kind of solution. So if we have InfoPath, if we have SharePoint Designer Workflows, what should be the target platform to redevelop these solutions to? So first of all, if we're talking about the InfoPath, you can redevelop them using Power Apps. Power Apps are included in the most of the Office 365 subscriptions. This platform requires some kind of development. It is low code, but no code solution. So if you will have Power Apps developer, that person should be able to prepare any kind of custom form for your SharePoint environment. If you were looking for something more straightforward, less technical, Plumsail, the product I mentioned at the very beginning of this video, could be the solution that could speed up development or redevelopment of that kind of customizations. This platform does not require custom developer experience. It's more no-code approach rather than low-code approach. And again, there is try subscription that you can use and check. If you will decide to move forward with this solution for some or for every form that you have in your InfoPath solutions, remember about possible discount that you can get. Just use my first name, Shimon. I know that it's super tricky, but you will find it in the name of this channel. And what about SharePoint Designer Workflows? In this case, if you are talking about replacing them, Power Automate could be the solution to do that. The thing you need to remember, it's not one-to-one. You will not be able to map every functionality that is present in the SharePoint Designer Workflows in Power Automate, but more or less, this is very close solution. Based on my experience, it requires, let's say, less developer experience. If you are familiar with designing the workflows, you should be able to move forward with this platform. So Power Automate could help you to do that. Sometimes you will need to have the possibility to extend these capabilities. And again, extensions or add-ons for Power Automate provided by companies like Plumsail could help you to achieve your goals. In case of Nintex, the supported scenario is to redevelop them or migrate them to the Nintex software as a service platform. So the logic will be taken off from Office 365 for the dedicated SaaS platform provided by Nintex. There are some migration tools that could help you out. You will find the details in the link in the description. I also recommend, if you're planning to migrate it to Nintex platform, to contact with your account manager. You will be able to get some additional help from Nintex to achieve that. Of course, you can try to migrate it to Power Automate, to Power Apps, to Plumsail, to any other platform that gives you that kind of possibility. And if you want to get to know more about what Plumsail could offer in the area of building customized forms without any kind of development, I prepared very short demo for you that shows you what you can achieve and how you can design very complex forms using this solution. Plumsail Forms is a product that could help you to customize SharePoint forms for your business applications. This solution offers you the possibility to build business applications using the forms, easily divide the form into the logic sections with specific tabs, according, wizard and complex grids. Moreover, you can customize the appearance of lookup fields and show additional information or images across the forms. You can create cascading drop-downs with multiple levels, again without any additional custom development, and extend the capabilities of your business applications using that kind of features. Additional list and library controls offers you the possibility to combine multiple lists or document libraries and work together with the related site. You can build very complex logic, multiple lists, multiple document libraries in the one business solution. And you can edit all relevant data gathered from multiple sources in the one business application that is built on top of your form. This is very smooth, very elegant solution. You can also filter the list or library to show relevant information and group items by their status in the process. If business logic behind your business application will be complex, this is the feature that could easily help you out to deliver very functional solution without additional custom code. All of that and more can be done in the handy drag and drop designer, which you can use multiple fields, multiple controls and use them in the one environment to build your customer facing business app. What is most important from my perspective, this is totally no code approach, which gives you the possibility to create the new edit or display forms for your SharePoint lists or your document libraries. And one more quite important element, SharePoint forms customized with Plumsail are responsive by default, so you don't have to do any additional work to make it suitable for the using these forms on the smartphones. And you can also create dedicated, completely unique views for mobile and tablet users. And unlike forms created with the Power Apps, you don't need to recreate them, to reuse them. Plus, Plumsail Forms offers provisioning framework to automate that process. If you were looking for the alternative for the customized forms provided by InfoPath or Power Apps, Plumsail could be the solution for you. Check the link in the description, and remember, if you will decide to buy, you can use Shimon code for the 10% discount, and moreover, I recommend highly to try it using trial subscription. And I hope this video and material I gathered will help you to prepare you and your organization to move out from InfoPath and SharePoint 2013 workflows. To be very fair, I think it's time to move on, because this is really old technology, but heavily used for many years. If you have any additional questions, looking for some guidance, feel free to leave your comments below. I will do my best to help you to address your concerns. Thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.